Hi everyone, and welcome to another Townie Makeover. Today I'm giving the Roomie household a makeover, and their description is, this household seems to have stepped right out of a TV sitcom. What wacky misadventures will the perky Zoe, easygoing Mitchell, uptight ladies man Jay, and intellectual Gavin suffer this week? Tune in and find out. And I find it funny that the description says they seem to have stepped right out of a sitcom, because I found out a while ago that this household is a reference to the Fox TV show New Girl, which did end a year or two ago. And that just made this household more interesting to me, because at first glance, I didn't really think they were that exciting, but finding out that they were based on a TV show that I liked and I've seen every episode of just made them a bit more interesting to me and really made me want to go in and give them a makeover. So with all of their makeovers, I gave them looks that were inspired by the characters they are meant to resemble, because looking at all four of the Sims in this household, you can kind of tell who they were meant to resemble, although it's a bit more obvious with two of them than it is with the other two, I think. But before I get into that, I just want to give like a quick synopsis of the TV show, just in case any of you haven't seen it, because I'm probably going to be talking about the show a whole lot during this video, so I don't want those of you who haven't seen it to be too lost. So basically, the premise of that TV show is that Jess, who is the main character that Zoe obviously is meant to resemble, finds out that, I don't know if I want to give away too much spoilers, basically something happens and she ends up having to find a new place to stay, and she ends up staying with three guys that she found off of Craigslist, although it's been a while since I saw the pilot, but I believe she didn't know they were guys. Like, she thought they were all girls and then went there and then found out that they were guys, and hilarity ensued. So it was a little bit of a stereotypical premise, because it was kind of like, what happens if we have this plucky, perky, cheerful girl live with all of these kind of bro-y guys, you know, is that kind of thing. Like, what happens if you have a girl live with three guys and how they get along and all of that. But I still really enjoyed the show, and it was interesting to see how some of the characters changed from the beginning of the series to the end. Like, there definitely was developments for some of the characters. So yeah, it was a show that I really enjoyed. And as I said, Zoe is obviously meant to resemble Jess, and it's pretty obvious that Jay is meant to resemble Schmidt, who is kind of a ladies' man, and that's the description that they gave Jay. But with Mitchell and Gavin, it's a bit less obvious, but I'm pretty sure Mitchell's meant to resemble Nick, who's kind of this, I guess he's kind of like a lazy, or kind of like a slacker or bartender in the beginning of the series. And then I believe Gavin is meant to resemble Winston, although that I feel is even less clear, because they describe Gavin as an intellectual, and that's not exactly the description that I would give Winston, because in the show Winston is a bit goofier, although I guess he does have his intellectual moments. And I think that because Gavin does have the neat trait, so I think that kind of is something that Winston like maybe would have shared, because I know he's very particular about some things throughout the series. So yeah, it's not really like an exact likeness, you know, like there's some differences, so they're kind of loosely based on the characters. It's not like they're exact recreations of them, but yeah, it's just kind of cool that you can look at the household and you can tell like who each of them are meant to resemble. And all four of them, of course, live in a house together, hence the name Roomies. And their house is pretty cool. It's a really cool shaped mid-century modern home. So I have renovated that, and the video for that will be up Saturday. So if you want to check that out, then keep an eye out for that Saturday afternoon, because I just had so much fun renovating their home, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it was just fun giving their bedrooms and the whole house in general a little bit more personality. But onto the makeovers, we are, of course, giving Zoe her makeover now, and I was trying to give her a Jess Day inspired style. So I did give her some bangs, because Jess, the main character in the show, who is played by Zoe Deschanel, does have bangs. So I thought it'd be fun to give her those. And for all of her outfits, I was just looking at pictures of Jess from the show and trying to recreate her outfits as exactly as I could. Although I did go back and redo her second everyday wear, because it felt a little, it felt like it didn't quite go with the rest of the outfits that I gave Zoe. And also, they do live in Oasis Springs, so I was trying to give them outfits for their everyday wear and outfits for, you know, outfits for all their outfits in general that made sense for the hotter climate that Oasis Springs is. And that outfit I felt just didn't really fit in with that, so I changed it to something that I thought was a bit better at the end. But we're on our hot weather outfit, which I really like. I just really love this dress on her with the blue on the skirt part of it, and then the blue sandals that kind of tie in with that. And her traits are cheerful, goofball, and clumsy, which I think describes Jess's character on New Girl to a T. So Zoe, personality-wise, is pretty spot on to how Jess was in the show. And I think with the bangs, like she definitely looks a bit more like Jess. And I think she also looks kind of like Cece, who is another character in the show. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Jess is definitely just clumsy. You know, like she kind of gets into a lot of misadventures, as the household description says. Like things go wrong. It's like always something like goes comically wrong in her life. And she's also a big old goofball and just very, very cheery. So yeah, I just liked her character in the show. I thought she was a lot of fun. She also has the friend of the world aspiration, which is another thing that I think suits Jess. Like I think if I were to make a sim version of Jess, that's probably the aspiration that I would give her. And here's when I went back and fixed her every day or two or changed it up. Because as I said, I just thought the other one didn't fit in with the rest of the outfits. But that was pretty much a recreation of an outfit that I saw Jess wearing. Or maybe it wasn't Jess, like maybe it's just Zooey Deschanel in general. But I think Zooey and Jess have similar styles in general. And I was really happy that I was able to find pretty much the same things in the Sims clothing catalog that Jess was wearing in that picture. So yeah, I like that outfit, but as I said, it just didn't really fit in for the Oasis Springs climate, I felt. But we are on to Mitchell, who, as I said before, is meant to resemble Nick, or I believe that's who he's meant to resemble, because I think it would make a lot more sense that he is meant to resemble Nick than that Gavin is, because it's a bit closer to him personality-wise, because Nick was presented as kind of the slacker in the beginning of the series, and he was a bartender, and Mitchell is in the beginning of the culinary career, although his aspiration is to become a joke star, which is not what I would have picked for a sim version of Nick. But as I said, I don't think they're meant to be exact recreations. I think they're more so loose, like kind of loose representations of the Sims, of the characters from that series. But yeah, so you could definitely tell Nick is what they were going for with Mitchell. So once again, I was just looking at pictures of outfits that Nick wore on the TV show when picking out his outfits. I mean, the hair is different than what Nick had, but I was also trying to pick things that I felt flattered Mitchell. So I think he does look a lot better, and I just like the kind of flowier, or like, you know, like kind of looser, baggier, like less fashionable clothing that I gave him, because Nick definitely was not the most fashionable person. And I think this shirt I gave him for his first everyday wear outfit is pretty much something Nick would have worn in the TV show, because I think I remembered him wearing kind of baggy button-up shirts. I think that would be a Henley top. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I have to give him that because that is perfect. And then Nick also wore a lot of button-up flannel shirts. So I think those, like his everyday wear clothing, just is a perfect representation of Nick. But we are actually almost done with him. Oh yeah, his traits are also bro, lazy, and outgoing, which yeah, I think those would definitely describe Nick pretty well. And I noticed that all the guys in the household have the bro trait. So I think that was kind of indicating that, you know, they're all bros, they're all friends. Because in the TV show, all three of the guys knew each other and had been friends for a very long time. So I think that's what they were intending to go with for this, that they were friends. And then Zoe's kind of coming in as the new girl who none of them know. So in the version of the household that we'll be uploading, I did fix their relationships. So all the guys are good friends, and then Zoe's acquaintances with all of them. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to hold up when you download them, because I thought it did. But then I put when I put the Caliente family down before I started my Let's Play on them, their relationships were reset. So I don't know, that might not actually hold. I thought it did in the past, but then again, sometimes they patch things and it changes. So who knows? So hopefully the change relationships will be there. And if not, then if you want to do it, it shouldn't be too hard to make it so the guys are all friends. But we are on to Jade now, who, as I said, was meant to resemble Schmidt. And this is a pretty obvious one, because Schmidt in the show started out as a huge ladies' man, and that is what Jay's supposed to be. And honestly, I didn't really like Schmidt's character that much in the show at first. Like, there was definitely some funny things with him and the douchebag jar that they had in the apartment, but I just wasn't really like that into his character at first. But he definitely grew on me as the series went on, and he's one of those characters that did develop in, I think, a good way as the series went on. So I did like her. Like, I'm not going to give spoilers or anything like that, you know, in case any of you haven't seen the show and you want to see it, but I do like the change that he went through from the beginning of the series to the end of it, and ended up really liking him by the end of the series. And he is also his character in the show is also uptight, so that definitely fits in with the uptight ladies man description that they gave him. And with this outfit, I took inspiration from Schmidt, so I literally copied outfits that Schmidt wore in the show as best as I could. So that's why his second everyday wear outfit is just a plain button-up shirt, because I saw Schmidt wearing that a lot in the series. And his first one was kind of a suit jacket, because that character was definitely very well dressed, very put together. He was very focused on his appearance and looking good, and I just think he looks so much better with these outfits than with the original ones, because his original everyday wear outfit was just awful, and he looked like he was straight out of a country club, you know, like he had just finished playing golf, and I just didn't really like that. I wanted him to look a bit more fun and a bit like I don't know, just not like that, like a bit more stylish, because what he was wearing before definitely was not stylish. Like I just did not like it at all. So yeah, I really like how he turned out, and this hair also looks so much better on him than that just slicked back hair that he had, although that kind of looked like Schmidt's hair a little bit from the show, but I think this one also does. This one that Gavin also kind of does too. So yeah, that was another good change. I also left him clean shaven, you know, because that character was clean shaven. So yeah, I just had a blast giving them these makeovers that were inspired by the TV show, and also really helped me to get some good inspiration for what to do with them, because sometimes when I'm giving Townie households makeovers, I'm not really sure where to go with it. So that just like having that source of inspiration just helps so much. But we are on to Gavin now, and he is meant to resemble Winston, although I feel like his personality is the furthest from the TV show equivalent, because as I said, I wouldn't really describe Winston as an intellectual. He's more just kind of goofy, although like I think, as I said, I think he would have the knee trait as well, and he could be pretty creative too, so there's definitely some overlap. But with his style, I was trying to make him look a little bit less uptight, so he looked a little bit more like Winston from the TV show. I got rid of that suit jacket or that blazer type shirt he's wearing and gave him just a short sleeve polo, or yeah, short sleeve button up shirt and then a polo, because those were things that Winston very frequently wore in the TV show. And something I really got a kick out of, and I think this was mainly in the later seasons, was that Winston tended to wear a lot of button-up shirts with birds on them. Like, I just thought it was so funny seeing the different button-up shirts with birds on them each week. Although we don't really have a lot of those in this game, but I was able to give him one for his hot weather outfit, so that's probably my favorite outfit of his, because I did use the coloring of that shirt from I think it's from Bowling Night stuff, that had the flamingos on it, because it's like, yes, we have a button-up shirt with birds on it, I have to give it to him. So it's not exactly the kind of thing he would have worn in the show, but I just love that that was there, and that was something that I absolutely had to give him. So I'm giving him that now, so I think we're gonna get to that shortly. And then I also gave him some pink pants. Yeah, there we go. Actually, no, here's what I'm getting. But yeah, I also gave him some pink shorts to go with it. And I just really like this outfit. This is definitely my favorite outfit. And I also really like Winston's character in the show. Like, he was definitely one of my favorites. He always had these kind of wacky subplots that I really enjoyed. And in the TV show, he also had a cat named Ferguson. And I thought it'd be really fun to give this household a cat named Ferguson as kind of a reference to, like, even more of a reference to that TV show, because we didn't have cats when the base game came out. So I was like, let's just go in and give him a cat named Ferguson. And I was trying to make him look roughly like Ferguson from the show, although I wasn't sitting there trying to exactly recreate Ferguson, because I didn't want to spend hours on doing this. But I did make him a Persian, of course, because Ferguson in the TV show is a Persian, and I tried to give him the same coloring as best I could, because Ferguson had some tabby markings on. It was like those tabby markings mixed with white. So I gave him the tabby coat as a base, and then here I was just trying to color in half his mouth because half of Ferguson's mouth was colored brown, and then I also went in and colored his front legs white, because that was another thing that Ferguson had going on. So yeah, I just really loved like adding this to the household. And when I set up their relationships, I also made it so Gavin was closer to Ferguson than the rest of them. So it's kind of like Gavin, or like kind of like Ferguson is Gavin's cat. And when you see the renovation I did at their house, I did put the cat tree in Gavin's room just to kind of show, you know, furthermore that Ferguson is meant to be his cat. I also added some other pet related things throughout the house, of course. So yeah, that was just another fun little bonus for this house. And when I do more of these Townie makeovers, I definitely want to give more of them pets, because I just really enjoy doing that. And it's kind of fun to make the pets that I imagine these households having. And I really want to give the pancakes a makeover, so I think that's going to be the next household that I give a makeover and renovate the home of. Not sure when that's going to be, though, because I know I did the last Townie makeover like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm going to have a bit more time between this one and the next one. But yeah, I just wanted to do this one so soon after the last one, because I just had a lot of fun giving the Caliente family a makeover, and then prior to that I did one Townie Makeover like 8 months before that, so I just wanted to kind of make up for saying Townie Makeovers was a thing I was gonna do and then not doing it for months, so yeah, I just want to do these two closer together. But the makeovers are all done, so here are some pictures just showing before and after transitions, and then all of their outfits so you can get a look at what they're wearing. And I will have links to their custom content in the description, so check that out if you want to have the custom content to go with them. Then I'll also have information in there on how to download them, because since they have CC, I can't supply a link. So yeah, check down the description for custom content links and download information. But that is going to be all for me, so if you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching, and bye!